Becoming Her Beyond Measure. My name is Ray, and today is day 17 of the challenge, Wednesday, June 17th. And it's been a while since I've recorded because it's been a while since I have been active within the challenge. For the last couple of days, I have been working on writing and finishing a book project that came out of nowhere, but that I was really passionate about. And so I went full force into that. And it took a couple of days, but I finally finished that last night. And so this morning I was very motivated to get back into the routine of things. I think that was a really good, necessary moment for me because up until that point, I had been doing stuff with the challenge, but I hadn't really been seeing any progress. And so, obviously, finishing writing a book is progress. Like, that's huge progress. The book project is 494 pages, A5 size, which means if we were to, like, put that into, like, a full size page, I wrote about, like, 200 or some pages over the period of like 3 to 5 days or whatever it was. Still pretty cool, still pretty amazing. Super proud of myself. I love the book. But now it's time to take a step away from that. I will actually not be looking at the book again for the next month just so that I can look at it again with fresh eyes when I start the editing process. And so that is something that I'll be working on, like I said, when July comes around. So in the meantime, I thought that I could come on here and create a video for today, so that I can get that uploaded, because all of the previous videos that I've been scheduling and that have gone up were from the first like 10 or so days of the challenge, because I had recorded it all at one time. So as I was saying, yeah, that has been what I've been doing for the last few days. I created a video where I showed you all my iPad setup of GoodNotes that I'm going to be using throughout this challenge. And so that's currently what I have pulled up here. This is my iPad Pro. I've had this for years now. And so if we go to today's, I'll probably add a screen share so you all, or a screen recording rather, so you all can see what I'm doing. But basically I have already, let's see, the goal for today. What my big task, it was to walk 10,000 steps, finish module 4 of my training, read for 45 minutes, record a YouTube video, which we're doing right now. And then the small tasks were to meditate, listen to a prayer, listen to affirmations, write 500 words, and post a YouTube video. I'm going to post the video that I'm recording right now. And then this is sort of my schedule that I did today. Let me edit, because I woke up around like 9:30. So yeah, but that's what we did today. And then I filled out the self-care really cute or whatever. And then I have my recording schedule and then my uploading schedule. So with regard to the recording, I actually need to go in and finish recording that 10-day reflection because I did not do that day. So let's put that out here. And then it's about to be time to record the 20-day check-in, where we're going to do today's video. So what I wanted to talk to you all about today was consistency versus perfection. And that's really important because when I was going back into my Notion tracker and everything today, and I seen how many days I'd missed with steps and with different things, I was almost like, oh no, I have to start all over again. But it's funny because yesterday when I was joining my class for live for my wellness certification, she was talking about perfectionism, and there was so much about it that resonated because the topic was about high performers, and I've kind of always been a high performer, and she was talking about perfectionism specifically and how uh, beneficial but also damaging it can be for you. And due to your perfectionism, you may start and stop things. You have an all or nothing type thinking, all of those sorts of things. And all of that was very true to me. I think that, like I said, specifically when it came to this challenge, when I was looking at all those holes of like days not done, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should just start the challenge all over again. And I was like, but why would I do that? Because one of my main boundaries, if we go back to that video, was to make it fun and to keep going. Like, even if it wasn't perfect, keep going. And so I would literally be going against my boundary at that point. I would literally be going against the rules that I set for myself. And why would I do that? Um, so with that said, I'm just going to continue. Yes, I had a few imperfect days, and so the way that I felt like I would remedy that is just to add days on at the end. So even though this is a 90-day challenge and my last day was August 30th, I think, however many days I missed, I think it was 3, it was minimum 3, maybe 5 days. I'm gonna add 3 to 5 days on at the end just to give myself that chance to like get it right, do the full 90 days. Because I think that what's not like, it's more important to do the 90-day thing than to do the 90-day thing um for 90 days consecutively. And maybe that's just me, but I think that I have built up the habit of, like, either way, at the end of it, I'm going to build a habit of consistency. I'm going to build a habit of showing up for myself. And again, it's not like I wasn't doing anything for the past 3 to 5 days. I just wasn't doing things necessarily related to the challenge. Like I said, when it came to writing that book, that wasn't scheduled part of the 90-day challenge, but I was still writing like 5,000 to 10,000 words a day, like, which is above and beyond what I want to do. Like, if we go back to my iPad and the goal that I had for this month's focus, and the goals, it was right at my monthly goal was to write 5,000 words. So being able to do that every day, like, of course, I that meant that, like, focusing on that took my time away from my steps, and it took time away from maybe reading because I was creating. And I think that that's the most important part, though, because when we go back to why I'm doing this challenge, it's to become the dream version of myself. And the dream version of myself is someone who completes things, like she gets things done, she creates. So I took a break from consuming to create something and go full throttle into that, which is perfectly fine. Like, I don't see that as a loss, but I am just, like I said, going to add 5. I'm just probably going to add 5 days, and end probably, what would that be, like September 4th, just so I can give myself the opportunity to do that, even though I still did a really good job and did important work. There were 3 days where I did not walk, but I've been weighing myself every day, and it's funny because those days of rest were exactly what my body needed. Um, I'm doing multiple challenges at once, so I've been having the challenge of walking 5 to 10K steps for a month now, as of today, and I still have lost 8 pounds in the past month. Well, okay, not 8, between 4 to 8. I can't think off the top of my head. But the point is, like, I'm still making progress, and I've lost 3 inches off of my waist. So I'm still doing the things, even if it doesn't look like what I thought it looked like. And that's the reason why I created that video of like, uh, expectation versus reality, because we think one thing, but life shows up and other things happen. Like, I didn't know that the 3 days of rest of not walking was going to be the thing that helped me drop down on the scale, but also drop down um, waist wise. But it makes sense. I've learned through my wellness certification that actually sometimes that's exactly what our body needs, because I was stressing my body, like putting so much pressure to get that step goal in every day, that like um cortisol was rising within me and things like that. So those 3 rest days allowed me to like go back to baseline, and things like that. And I was retaining so much water at the time because it required so much water because I was exercising so much, and that wasn't not normal for me. So basically what I'm saying is that breakaway did my body good, but also my mind good, and I think overall that makes a better me moving forward. Um, and so I feel like, going back to what I said about consistency versus perfection, I was not perfect these last 5 days, but I was consistent. I still showed up in the ways that I could. Um, for example, yesterday I got 5,000 steps, not 10,000, but 5,000 something. Still really good. Um, and like I said, I wrote a lot. I'm trying to think of the goals that I have had. I was still reading, but like I said, because I was writing, my, I was not reading 45 minutes. I was probably reading about 20 to 30 minutes, but still showing up. Um, I was still drinking my water. I wasn't listening to a podcast because I didn't want anyone else's information to end up in my book. Like, I wanted to, be original and lots of things like that. So it took a lot of time. I didn't really journal during that time because writing for me was that form of outlet. Like, I was putting my feelings, my emotions, or whatever into the book. The book was very like emotional for me to write. There was times I cried while writing and reading the chapters. And so I think that that had the same purpose as journaling does, um, but just a different medium. And so consistency doesn't look like 100% achieving everything all the time. That's called perfection. What consistency does look like is showing up in some way every day in the way that you can. And so again, I could show up 100% as writer Ray, as a dream version of myself who writes and who creates books and things like that. But that meant that maybe I couldn't show up as a healthy Ray, or but I was still like doing other things that were maintaining health but not prioritizing it, if that makes sense. And one of the things too is like I spent a lot of time with my son over the last 3 days, watching movies together and doing things like that, that like 80-year-old me, me in 90 days, me a year from now, would appreciate so much more than having checked some other boxes. So that's really what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, everything doesn't have to look like what we thought it would look like to still be perfect and to still be worthy. Because my goal was to publish one book, and by finishing writing a book, I'm one step closer to that goal. Now, had I just stuck to the rules of the 90-day challenge, I'd still be going back and forth between books that, one, I'm not even feeling motivated to write at the time, but two, I'm forcing myself like to put energy into those, Like, it was so much better for me to take a complete step away from both of those books and go with something that really matched where my passion was, where my encouragement was. And again, without being lazy. Like, I think some people think, oh, if you didn't show up for the things that you said you were going to do, then you're lazy. Then you're giving yourself an excuse and you're taking the easy way out. But that's not what I see it as. I see it as like I still allowed myself to show up without forcing myself into this rigid box of I can only write Project Ice Queen for the next 90 days. While that might be good for some, I, at the beginning of this year, Project Ice Queen wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't even like a thought, an idea, anything. So I'm not going to hold myself to something that I never even originally wanted, I guess I could say. Like I said, the goal was to publish a book, whatever that book ended up being. It didn't say publish a Project Ice Queen or publish a romance book. Though the book I wrote had romance elements, it's mainly just um, a book about black excellence and a book about becoming and a book about essentially the journey of a woman to like find herself and choose herself and put herself first. And then obviously with that comes love and abundance and all the other things, which I think is obviously the journey I'm on right now. So it felt like the most aligned book to write. Project Ice Queen is a very dark romance type book. It's a very urban romance type book, and I just haven't felt in that space lately. And then my second book that I was working on initially throughout this challenge is more of a like soft romance, but it's still the main premise of the book is still romance. Like I said with the third book, the main premise was academia, her growth, her healing journey, all of that. So, like, most of the chapters are like her studying or her accomplishing something or her thoughts about something or something like that, versus like her going out and partying, her meeting a man, her clubbing, her all of those things. It was a very, like I said, becoming of a coming of age book for adult women, because that was something like I wished I seen more of. I wish that I could read. That book is kind of like came about by me reading like a book, um, and it being like I was like, I don't really love this. Like, and also when it comes to my book, like it matches my life philosophy. I'm someone who doesn't want to ever prioritize a man to the point where I forget about me and my own goals and the things that I want to achieve. And unfortunately, so many women are male centered. And so the book was the opposite of that. I feel like there's not enough books for women that aren't male centered. Not to say that you can't have a man, but also the man is not going to be the focus of the book, if that makes sense. So that's why I chose to write that, because I found the book that I was reading, while I thought, well, it is an okay book and it is something I'm going to continue to read. It's kind of male centered, and I don't really enjoy that. Um, they say that your environment should match where you're headed in life, and you should be intaking and consuming more of what you say you want than obviously more of what you say you don't want. And so with that, why am I consuming male-centered content, male-centered music, male-centered podcasts, whatever the case, when I'm trying to step away from being male-centered myself? And so I know this video had like no real common purpose or theme. I'm gonna have to think about what I wanted the title to be. But I think that everything I talked about was kind of just like where my head is at. So maybe I'll just call it something like that. Um, but like I said, all of this still is me showing up for the best version of myself. She is someone who is healthy. She's someone who's happy, confident, fulfilled, uh, self assured, all of those things. And even though I didn't know, do anything from the, or barely anything from the list of 10 things that I had for the challenge, I still showed up every day as self assured. I still showed up every day as someone who was fulfilled, especially about writing that book. And at the end of having finished writing that book, I still showed up as um, confident and all the things, and that's what really matters. I think that sometimes these challenges and these self-development videos and glow up journeys and all the things can make us forget about the purpose, um our why, if you will. And I know it's trending on TikTok right now, like, what is your why? And that's mine. My why is to, again, be that woman that I explained. And so that is why I'm able to stay consistent, even if it doesn't look the same every day, because I know who I'm becoming and I know what she looks like. Actually, my digital journal has each month has like an image in the background, like a vision board for uh that theme of the month. So this is June. As you can see, the vision board is like a girl journaling, it's her reading, it is her eating fruit, and essentially just enjoying life. As you can see, nothing about a man. And the quote says, "Dear little black girl, your vision is powerful, your voice is necessary, your success is inevitable." And again, that's what I'm working towards for the month of June. And then I have a different quote for July. Um, the focus for July is more on I am becoming the best version of myself. So that is the vision board for that one, and do it for your future self. And so these are all like, every time I come in here, I'm just getting reminders of why I'm doing it. That's literally what it's all about. And I think I constantly remind myself of who I'm becoming. And so there is this question that I couldn't answer maybe a month ago, which was, if people were to look at your life, could they tell what your priority was? And you couldn't. You could see that I was maybe passionate about things, but there wasn't really a central priority. And I feel like if you look at my life these days, you can absolutely, in my opinion, without a doubt, tell what my priority is. My priority is showing up for me. My priority is becoming the best version of myself. That looks different every day, but I'm still meeting that overall goal, if that makes sense. So that's what I just wanted to talk to you all about today. I know it was a longer video. Sometimes that happens. I try to keep it under 20 minutes, if at all possible. But thank you all for watching if you made it to the end, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.